There exists an invisible line between the individual who commands respect and the individual who forfeits it. That line is drawn almost imperceptibly by the words one chooses to release into the atmosphere. Words, though invisible and weightless, carry with them the power to construct empires or dismantle dreams. Guarded speech, the deliberate withholding of one's weaknesses, doubts, and insecurities, is not merely a matter of prudence, it is the foundation of all enduring power. The person who habitually speaks of his troubles and confesses his vulnerabilities weakens the impression he creates in the minds of others. By repeatedly sharing his frustrations, failures, and personal limitations, he invites not only sympathy but also subtle judgment and diminishing regard. Men and women instinctively admire strength and certainty. They are drawn magnetically to those who exhibit control and unwavering confidence. Conversely, they recoil, often unconsciously, from those who project instability or uncertainty, even if cloaked in the language of honesty or vulnerability. This is not to suggest dishonesty or pretense. It is not a command to pretend perfection where none exists. Rather, it is a call to discernment, to understand that not all truths are useful when spoken aloud, and that some admissions are better left unvoiced, reserved only for private reflection and personal correction. When you expose your weaknesses publicly, you create a permanent mental image in the minds of others. Long after you have conquered that weakness, they may still see you as the person who confessed it. Their perception becomes fixed, and that perception shapes how they treat you, speak of you, and engage with you. Guarded speech requires self-discipline, but it also demonstrates supreme inner control. The individual who restrains his tongue exhibits mastery over the one faculty that has ruined more ambitions than any external obstacle, the undisciplined mind. If thoughts arise but are not carefully filtered before being spoken, they spill into the world in ways that dilute one's influence and scatter one's energies. The act of guarding one's words fortifies the mind itself. It is a practice that builds self-reliance as it trains the individual to resolve his challenges internally rather than by soliciting external validation or pity. Furthermore, weakness revealed invites exploitation. In every arena, whether business, social interaction, or personal relationships, there are those who consciously or not seek advantage. To them, a confessed limitation is an open invitation to manipulate, to outmaneuver, or to undermine. History's most enduring leaders, inventors, and wealth builders understood this truth intimately. They spoke sparingly of their difficulties and never revealed the full extent of their plans, fears, or frustrations. Their silence was not aloofness. It was strategy. By withholding information about their internal struggles, they maintained an air of invincibility, and in doing so discouraged interference and criticism. Guarded speech cultivates mystery, and mystery commands curiosity and respect. People are drawn to what they do not fully understand. The person who reveals every detail of his inner world leaves no room for wonder, no reason for others to lean in and pay closer attention. But the one who speaks cautiously, choosing words with precision, invites others to ponder, to speculate, and to regard him as someone of depth and gravity. Consider also the preservation of energy. Every spoken word is an expenditure of life force. To articulate one's doubts or struggles repeatedly is to expend energy that could be directed towards solution and progress. The guarded individual channels that energy inward, using it to fuel action and contemplation rather than scattering it through idle talk. This conservation of energy sharpens focus and accelerates achievement. There is yet another benefit: peace of mind. When one refrains from vocalizing every emotional upheaval or every transient frustration, one avoids the inevitable aftermath of regret. Words once spoken cannot be recalled. Confessions made in moments of weakness may be later rued as circumstances change and perspectives shift. Guarded speech prevents such unnecessary entanglements. It keeps the mind serene, unburdened by the complications that arise from overexposure. In time, this habit of measured speech elevates self-esteem. The individual comes to view himself as a person of strength simply because he has conditioned himself not to betray his inner world indiscriminately. He develops a quiet pride in his self-control, and that pride feeds confidence, which in turn attracts success and opportunity. To master guarded speech is to position oneself advantageously in all human affairs. It creates an aura of competence, inspires trust, and ensures that one's plans and ambitions are protected from the corrosive effects of gossip, skepticism, and premature exposure. The mind is the most powerful force at the disposal of any human being. Within it lies the capacity to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary, to transmute challenges into triumphs, and to bend the laws of fate to suit one's desires. However, just as a great army requires a competent general to lead it to victory, so too does the mind require a commanding force to direct it. Without the proper discipline and control, the mind is prone to chaos, indecision, and self-doubt, all of which serve only to hinder one's journey toward success. A controlled mind is the most valuable asset a person can possess. It is the one thing that can ensure the fulfillment of one's desires, regardless of external circumstances. If one's mind is disciplined and focused on a single purpose, no obstacle will be able to stand in the way of success. The person who masters control over their thoughts, who recognizes the power of their mind and uses it to shape their reality, is the one who becomes unstoppable. The importance of a controlled mind cannot be overstated, for it is the mind that determines the course of one's actions, and it is one's actions that create the reality in which they live. Thoughts, whether conscious or subconscious, precede actions. Every action, whether a small gesture or a monumental decision, is preceded by a thought. It is these thoughts that shape the individual's destiny. Therefore, it is essential to control those thoughts. If one's thoughts are negative, scattered, and unfocused, it will inevitably lead to negative actions and results. However, if one's thoughts are positive, focused, and determined, the actions that follow will be aligned with success. The mind is like a garden. If one plants seeds of doubt, fear, and indecision, those seeds will grow into weeds that choke the life out of any possibility of success. However, if one plants seeds of confidence, positivity, and determination, those seeds will grow into a flourishing garden of opportunity. The mind is fertile ground, but it must be carefully tended. Without this attention, negative thoughts will take root and dominate, leading to failure. It is not enough to simply think positive thoughts in passing moments of inspiration. The mind must be trained. Just as a person who wishes to build physical strength must commit to regular exercise, so too must the mind undergo consistent training. It must be conditioned to think in ways that support one's goals and dreams. This requires discipline, effort, and persistence. It is not an overnight transformation, but a continuous practice of controlling one's thoughts, of making sure that each thought aligns with the purpose of achieving success. Affirmations play a crucial role in this process. Affirmations are the tools that help rewire the mind, replacing negative or self-limiting beliefs with empowering, positive thoughts. By regularly repeating affirmations, a person can begin to shift their mental state. This repetition conditions the mind to accept new beliefs, ones that support success and personal power. Over time, these affirmations begin to permeate the subconscious, making the individual more attuned to opportunities and solutions. The subconscious mind, once programmed with positive affirmations, becomes a powerful ally in the pursuit of success. However, simply repeating affirmations is not enough. The mind must be engaged in focused thought, directed toward a specific goal. The individual who lacks a clear and definite purpose will find their mind drifting. and with it their actions will lack direction. It is essential to have a definite purpose or goal in mind, for this provides the mental focus needed to overcome distractions and obstacles. Without this focus, the mind will become a battleground of conflicting thoughts with no clear direction or purpose. It is only through focus and clarity that the mind can be steered toward success. The mind must also be protected from negative influences. The thoughts and ideas that one is exposed to will shape their mental landscape. A person who constantly immerses themselves in negativity, whether through toxic relationships, unfavorable media, or self-doubt, will find it difficult to maintain a controlled mind. Just as one would guard their physical health from harmful substances, so too must one guard their mind from negative influences. Surrounding oneself with positive, like-minded individuals engaging in uplifting activities and consuming nourishing ideas will reinforce the power of the controlled mind. In addition, it is important to remember that the mind is not only shaped by conscious thought, but also by the subconscious. The subconscious mind absorbs information constantly, whether one is aware of it or not. It is during sleep, relaxation, or moments of low attention that the subconscious is most active, accepting ideas without the filtering mechanism of the conscious mind. This is why it is essential to be intentional about what is allowed into the mind, for the subconscious will take those impressions and bring them to the forefront when needed. By cultivating positive thoughts and guarding the mind from negativity, a person can ensure that their subconscious is a constant source of support rather than a hidden obstacle. The power of a controlled mind extends beyond personal success. It affects every area of life. In relationships, business, and even health. The mind plays a pivotal role in shaping the outcome one experiences. An individual with a controlled mind exudes confidence, and this confidence attracts others. People are naturally drawn to those who are self-assured and mentally focused. In business, the ability to make sound decisions, to think strategically, and to maintain a calm and focused mind in the face of adversity is the hallmark of a true leader. Health, too, is influenced by the mind. The mind controls the body's response to stress, illness, and recovery. A positive, focused mindset can significantly impact one's physical well-being, just as a negative, unfocused mind can lead to the manifestation of physical ailments. The power to control one's mind, and consequently, one's destiny, lies within every individual. It is not a gift granted to a select few, but a skill that can be developed by anyone willing to put in the work. The key is in recognizing the power of the mind, taking responsibility for one's thoughts, and committing to the discipline required to control them. When the mind is controlled, the individual controls their destiny, for it is the mind that shapes the actions and decisions that lead to success. There is a profound truth that few truly understand. Your beliefs are not fixed. They are malleable and subject to change. The human mind is not a passive receiver of fixed thoughts, but rather an active force that can be shaped and molded by the right influence. Among the most powerful tools to reshape belief is the practice of affirmations. By repeatedly affirming a specific idea or belief, one can reprogram their subconscious mind, replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones. At the core of every action, decision, and result lies a belief. The beliefs a person holds about themselves, their potential, and the world around them directly influence their choices and behaviors. If a person believes they are destined for failure, they will act in ways that perpetuate that belief. If they believe they are capable of great success, they will seek out opportunities and make decisions that align with that belief. Beliefs are not mere abstract ideas, they are the driving forces behind every action. Therefore, it stands to reason that if one can change their beliefs, they can change their life. The subconscious mind is the most powerful tool available to any individual. It operates beneath the surface of conscious thought, quietly guiding actions, reactions, and decisions based on the beliefs stored within it. Most people are unaware of the constant flow of suggestions, images, and impressions that fill the subconscious. Yet, it is this very subconscious mind that shapes the individual's destiny. If the subconscious is filled with doubt, fear, and negative beliefs, the individual will experience a life filled with limitation and struggle. However, if the subconscious is reprogrammed with empowering beliefs, the individual's life will begin to transform in ways previously thought impossible. Affirmations are the tool that allows an individual to deliberately reprogram their subconscious mind. By repeating positive, empowering statements consistently, an individual can overwrite the negative beliefs that may have taken root in their subconscious. The repetition of these statements creates new neural pathways in the brain, reinforcing new beliefs and making them a natural part of the individual's mental landscape. This is not a quick fix, nor is it a process that happens overnight. But with persistence and consistency, the results can be. When affirmations are spoken with genuine emotion and belief, they create a powerful mental image. The mind responds to vivid, emotionally charged thoughts as if they were reality. This is why affirmations must be carefully crafted, spoken with conviction, and visualized with intensity. A person who says, "I am successful," but does so with little belief or feeling will find little benefit. However, the person who affirms with unwavering faith, saying, "I am destined for success, and all my actions are aligned with this truth," while visualizing the life they desire, begins to shift their internal state toward that very success. One of the most remarkable aspects of affirmations is their ability to work on a subconscious level. The conscious mind may be full of doubt or skepticism, but the subconscious mind does not question the validity of an affirmation. It accepts what it is given, whether true or false. This is why affirmations must be repeated with frequency and passion. Over time, the subconscious begins to absorb the affirmation as truth. The more the mind is exposed to a new belief, the more it comes to accept that belief as part of its identity. Once a belief is rooted in the subconscious, it becomes an automatic guide for the individual's actions. The practice of affirmations also serves to counteract the influence of negative thoughts. Throughout the day, the average person experiences a constant barrage of negative self-talk and doubt. These thoughts can arise from past experiences, external criticism, or simply the natural human tendency to focus on what is wrong rather than what is right. If these negative thoughts are not countered, they will accumulate and take root in the subconscious, shaping the individual's reality. Affirmations provide a powerful countermeasure to this negativity. By deliberately focusing on positive, empowering thoughts, an individual can create a mental environment that supports success rather than sabotage. Moreover, affirmations serve as a tool for building confidence. A person who affirms their own worth, abilities, and potential every day begins to internalize these truths. Over time, their sense of self-worth increases, and they begin to take actions that reflect this new belief in themselves. Confidence is not an inherent trait. It is a skill that can be developed. And like any skill, it requires practice. By consistently affirming one's own value and capability, a person can develop unshakable confidence in themselves and their ability to achieve their goals. The process of reprogramming the subconscious mind with affirmations is akin to that of rewiring a machine. In the beginning, the machine operates in a certain way with certain habits and routines. But with focused effort and consistent repetition, the machine begins to operate more efficiently with a new set of instructions. Similarly, the mind can be rewired through affirmations, changing the way it operates and the beliefs it holds. This is not to say that old beliefs will vanish instantly. Negative beliefs may still surface from time to time, but over time, they will lose their power. The new positive beliefs, reinforced through affirmations, will become the dominant force in the subconscious mind, guiding thoughts, decisions, and actions. Affirmations also create a sense of purpose and direction. By affirming a specific goal or desire, an individual sets their sights on that goal with clarity and focus. Affirmations direct the mind's attention to a single purpose, making it easier to identify opportunities, solutions, and actions that align with that purpose. The person who constantly affirms their goal of financial success, for example, will begin to notice opportunities for earning, investing, and managing money that they might overlooked. The affirmation serves as a mental beacon, guiding the person toward their desired outcome. There is a powerful synergy that occurs when affirmations are combined with action. Affirmations alone, while powerful, must be accompanied by consistent action in the direction of one's goals. The individual who affirms success without taking the necessary steps toward that success will find little benefit. However, when affirmations are aligned with action, they amplify the effects of both. The repeated affirmation creates a mental blueprint, and the actions taken bring that blueprint to life. Together, affirmation and action form an unstoppable force that propels the individual toward their desired outcome. The key to successful affirmations lies in their ability to rewire them, replacing old, limiting beliefs with this new, empowering ones. This transformation, though gradual, is powerful as the mind begins to accept and embody the new beliefs. The individual's life begins to reflect these changes. The subconscious mind becomes a force for success, guiding actions, decisions, and behaviors in alignment with the individual's goals. Through the consistent practice of affirmation, anyone can rewire their beliefs and create the life they desire.